There are never any cancellations in any practices I ever work with.
Do y'all? Well, we should start recording. So, so let me ask a question about cancellations. How many of you are counting your cancellations? Counting them? You're not counting them? Debbie, you are? Okay. So, Eric, what's the percent that we should be having? What a cutie! Hi there. What's the percent of cancellations? What's our goal? What are we shooting for?
Well, I think it's important to know like national averages.
Yeah.
The national average for cancellations is like 33%. Now, again, if you want to be average, that'll give you an idea. My guess is you don't want to be average because that average includes clinics. That's everybody. And they get a cancellation rate of about 33%. Well, the national average is 33%. They get a cancellation rate of about 50%. Like a Medicaid office, they have like a 50% no-show rate. They double book hygiene because of it. Okay. So we have to make sure we understand where we don't want to be, first of all. Typically where Paula and I are on things is we want to see in hygiene, always seems to be more cancellations in hygiene because of the lack of urgency. And so we want to see it in single digit percentages. Typical hygienist works about 100 to 110 hours a month. That means we want to have about 9 hours at the most, or half hour a day, an hour every other day. That's the most we want to deal with. And if we can get it lower than that, we'll take it. Doctors, 3 to 5% range, 3 to 5 hours a month. That's the most we want to have. So you might look at your net result, meaning you had more cancellations, but the admin team refilled it. Okay. For the hygienist listening, if you're getting cancellations, that's a sign or a symptom that they missed the value and urgency in keeping it at 6 months.
So we're on page 77, in case you want to know where we are in the manual.
And the cost, right, Paula? The cost of that. Should we talk about that too?
Oh yeah.
So,
Gosh,
but
yeah.
the cost of it, if you're getting 1 hour a day as a hygienist and you work 4 days a week, that's about $35,000 a year value. So if anybody's making money, that costs you about $10,000 out of your pay, just so you know, a year, just 1 hour a day. Cost
And
of
if
practice.
you're on commission, if you're on commission, that kind of adds up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, and it's for the whole practice loses in that regard because that patient obviously didn't get treatment, but they didn't come in for fillings and crowns and things like that were on the plan as well. A doctor, 1 hour a day, open time is equivalent to about $95,000 a year.
Wow, that's a lot. It adds
Yeah.
up. That's a great thing to use with the tracker. I love the yearly summary tab. We can go back there and go like you had 30 cancellations and you're producing 200 per patient. That's a loss of $6,000 or
Yep.
if I did the math right.
That's right.
Yeah. So it really is an eye opener for the team. Not that we're being focused on the numbers or focused on the money, but it adds up. We don't realize the cumulative effect sometimes. So we want to look at how we measure the cancellation and then how can we get a defense against that or prevent. And then triage when we do get a cancellation. And what most teams do is they spend most of their time right here on triage of, let's put a Band-Aid on that cut. How are we going to handle that cancellation call? And my question is, what's really happening? Let's diagnose, let's measure, let's do some probing depths here on our cancellations. And then, see, I just used a belief window with you.
Yeah.
And then, then let's come up with why are we having these cancellations? What is the reason why? What are we doing to prevent that cancellation? Because they start in the treatment room. Cancellations begin in the treatment room, not on the phone. That cancellation doesn't begin on the phone. It begins in the treatment room. In other words,
Yeah.
what gave them the idea they could call and cancel?
We missed something. Yep.
Yeah. So that's sort of where we have to go. So there's things, the focus areas we're looking for are what's happening now. Are we really making an impression, a good first impression with our new patient? How are we going to retrain our existing patients? Are we talking about conditions before treatment? Like Eric said, that prevents the the lack of urgency objection. Hygiene heaven is all the things that we're really doing in the hygiene appointment. Our answering machine, our voicemail system, our courtesy call system, our recare system. We've got some information in here about that. Cancellation protocol when it does happen. Our scheduling system and financial arrangements. All of this contributes to cancellations. Eric, what else do you think should go in
Well,
this section?
just reason for return. We talked about that. And so as a hygienist, I think if I were a hygienist, two conversations I want to make sure I'm happening. I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here, Paula, but
That's okay. No.
I think it goes in that prevention stage. So I would say reason for return, and it's a reservation, not an appointment. So whether I'm scheduling chairside or not, I'll still have the same conversation. So I would say reason for return. I say, I'm concerned. Paula, I'm concerned about maintaining your health. I'm concerned about the 2 bleeding areas in the lower right. I'm concerned about the buildup you had on your lower anteriors on the tongue side today. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I'm assuming you're concerned about that too. Test the buy-in. She'll lie to you and say, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
I'm concerned.
And then number 3. So then third step is therefore, because of that, my recommendation is that we see you no more than 6 months from today. Now I know it's 6 months in a day for insurance and things like that, but that's as far as we're going to go. But no more than 6 months per day. That way we can maintain a level of health with regard to X condition.
Right.
Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Would it make sense for us to go and get an appointment scheduled then? Now, if I schedule chairside, I go ahead and do that. And again, I would set up my view, my HIPAA view, just me. I would show them how I schedule. I teach them how to treat me. And as I'm scheduling, then I would go into a reservation, not an appointment. I would say, Paula, I'm going to be reserving an hour of my time exclusively for you. The reason we do that for all of our patients so that you get the best access to the best care, meaning high quality, individualized attention, right?
That sounds good. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that about you guys.
The only way we can continue to offer this to all of our patients is if all of our patients value and respect that same amount of time in their schedule. Does that sound fair to you?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to reserve an hour. Now, if I do 2 of those things, I promise you, I very rarely will hear, well, I don't know what I'm doing in 6 months. Just put me down for something. If I need to reschedule it, I'll let you know. I will never hear that when I do these 2 things back to back.
Yeah.
Because I just told them we don't do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's perfect, actually. I think, creating urgency in the hygiene appointment because they think it's just a cleaning
Yeah.
is a huge deal. I want to show you a picture. Maybe you guys do this. Debbie, do y'all have like pictures of pans with cyst that you show your patients?
No, we don't.
Something like this. I like having these. This not exactly a pan right here, but they've kind of zoomed in on the pan. I like having pictures like this to show the patients if there's something like that going on in your mouth, would you want to know?
Yeah.
And obviously we wouldn't find that. No one else is going to find it until it's too late, unless we're doing some of the things we're doing. That gives them a great reason to return, don't you think? Yeah. So do you guys have anybody else have pictures of pans like this with cysts or tumors that you can show?
This would go with your intraoral photos of your before and afters, right? Your image library that you need to have on your desktop ready to go.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So this definitely prevents a cancellation when you've got something like that going on. But Eric, how can we prevent a new patient from canceling?
Just go to their house and pick them up.
Send an Uber after them.
So a couple things. One is if your admin team can do reservation, not an appointment on the phone at the end of that phone call, I think that's really important. I think calling to create, when you're scheduled that far out for new patients, and we talked about some of you, the medical history update call, we talked about that yesterday. Mm-hmm. Dr. Netsley asked me to give you a call. It's really important he has some questions about your medical history before you come in. It's really important that we talk. Please give me a call back at. Then you talk about heart stuff, joint replacement stuff, COVID stuff. Okay. That gets them back on the phone and reassess. If they don't call you, that's a really weird sign. You should be concerned.
Yeah, for sure. For
Okay.
sure. So some teams, I don't know, Debbie, do y'all still do this? Do you have the doctor or the hygienist kind of contacting the patient the night before saying, Betsy shared with me your story. We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
No, we haven't done that in a long time.
Okay. Do y'all do that, Dr. Netzley or Dr. Pierce team? No? Okay. That can really have an impact.
Yeah. Especially if the doctor can do it.
Yeah. Not always the doctor can do it. And it's not everybody freaks like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to do that. But this is like, you're probably going to get a voicemail.
Call during the day.
And you're just going to have a copy of the research forms that you have for the new patients coming in tomorrow. If they're going to be seen on the hygiene schedule, the hygienist can do it. If an assistant can do it, it's not a confirmation call. We're not confirming the appointment. We're saying, hey, Betsy shared with me everything about your story about your last dental office, and I'm so sorry you had such a bad experience. We're going to take good care of you tomorrow. We'll see you at 10 o'clock. That's all you got to do. And then the new patient's like, oh, they know who I am.
That's right. And they know where I live. They're expecting me. When there's no connection, the no-show is very easy for the new patient because they don't think you really care that much. Remember, they think we teach them how to treat us, we, the physicians. So they think that you're just like the physician's office, that you schedule 30 patients an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
They've been trained by their orthodontist. Their orthodontist sees 80 to 90 patients a day. So the orthodontist, if you don't show up, kind of no skin off their back. You're still paying every month, unless you were a start or a new patient, right? They're not too worried about it. So they've been trained by all these other offices that it's no big deal. So you have to show them how you schedule. You have to explain to them how you schedule. If you don't want cancellations in your schedule, you got to teach them how to respect that time and what doesn't work for you. And I would just be honest with the patient.
The busy people conversation, I think that's in here somewhere. We know you're busy, we're busy. We need at least 2 weeks notice. That's another
2 weeks. I'm not gonna 2 weeks, Paula. What?
Why do we say 24, 48 hours? That's not enough time.
No. And if you ask for 48, you're gonna get 24 or 12 or 2.
Yeah, exactly. And when we ask for 2 weeks, we're probably not going to get 2 weeks, but what is it teaching them when we say that?
That's right.
We teach people how to treat you. That's all through here. So your existing patients, we've talked about a lot of this already, completing the complete exam, repeating that, retraining them. Don't focus on the turkeys. This is your 80-20 principle, your bottom 20%. Ask for their help. Use the apology close if you've disrespected their time. And
if we ran late,
use the intraoral camera. I know you can't ask your patients to be on time when you're always running late.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And if we're canceling their appointment for different reasons, then that's just giving them permission to cancel themselves. Well, you've moved me 3 times. I'm going to move myself this time. Right.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're teaching them it's okay to reschedule if you have to reschedule them a lot. I'm curious, Paula, Philip McGraw. I was thinking this was the ideal dental patient, Phil McCracken. Yeah, that's the ideal dental patient. Yeah.
That's like sending your new patients a packet of unpopped popcorn before their visit as a treat.
Oh.
Gosh. Or Jolly Ranchers or gummy bears or.
Yeah.
So what are we talking here of, the apology if we have been late, or I have a lot of practices who there's a hygienist who tends to be sick a lot and they're calling out and we have to cancel their appointments, and that happens 4 or 5 times, or with COVID or whatever. And the patients really get upset about that. So I usually suggest you have some temp hygienists in waiting who can be called, kind of like a substitute teacher for the schools that you've pre-approved. You know that they can come in on short notice. Hopefully you can find some like that in your area. I don't know, but that would be a really good thing to do to stop this moving patients around all the time. I've seen a lot of that this year, and some of it just can't be helped with COVID, right? Financial flu is another reason your existing patients cancel. They know they owe you money. You know, follow the dollar. If you look at your accounts receivable and they're owing you money, they're sitting home thinking, man, I don't know if I really want to go because I already owe them $300 and that's just going to run up my bill. Right? Financial flu.
Yeah, look, this is why it's so important for financial arrangements to be done correctly, because if a patient already owes money and they're coming in for their visit, they know they're going to be asked for that money, they're more likely to cancel their appointment with the hygienist.
That's exactly right. So this page is the Hygiene Heaven that you saw a few minutes ago. And I want to ask if Debbie, have you guys ever used like a hygiene report card or a value checklist or anything like that?
To give to patients?
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
haven't.
So, Jen, Julie, Dr. Nestle, have y'all used anything like that before? You know what I'm talking about? Eric, do you have a sample? I can pull one up.
I think I do. Go ahead, do it. You're already sharing your screen.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So what happens is hygiene report card.
It's like a fitness report. Like if you went to your physical therapist, or you went to some of you that your gym, your coach at the gym, they're going to be weighing you in. They're going to be measuring your this and that, your cholesterol, this, all that kind of stuff. And you want the feedback. You want to know what's working or not working, right?
For sure. All right, so let me pull this up and show you, give you a sample of what I'm talking about here. This is kind of like a value checklist. Like, here's all of the things we did in your appointment today. You see, we want to stop that. It's just a cleaning mentality.
Yeah.
We've got to stop that. This is not just a cleaning, because that's what they say when they call to cancel. Well, it's just a cleaning. So how can we get them out of that? We have to retrain them. And so we're giving them a checklist of what we did, maybe a report card of just a really quick, just make some check marks. You don't have to do a lot of writing here. And then you hand that to the patient. And this is like, wow, I got a really thorough evaluation here. Because when you look at their walkout statement, when they leave the practice, their walkout statement usually has 3 things on it: prophylaxis, bite wings, exam, periodic exam. And they don't know what prophylaxis means, and they don't know what bite wings are. And so there's a question of like, why did I pay this much money for 3 things? When really you're doing a whole lot more than 3 things. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some people do an explosion codes on the walkout statement of oral hygiene instruction. So back over to this Hygiene Heaven page in the manual that I was showing a little bit earlier. Let me pull that back up. And, well, it didn't share, did it? Share. Let's try again. So right here, this is page 84. So, I mean, there's lots of things you did in this visit. Oral cancer screening, that's usually not on the walkout statement. Sometimes it is. The products, the adult fluoride, that would be on the walkout. Any blood pressure that you took, all the x-rays that you took, the pictures, the images. Some people have actually copied and pasted intraoral camera images on the walkout statement or the treatment plan. That's pretty cool. Has anybody done that? Intraoral camera pictures are actually on the treatment plan. Do you have? I have a copy of one like that somewhere. You want me to see if I can find it? Let's see. Treatment.
And you can just print them out and have it be separately if you want. but some softwares are just a little more advanced when it comes to their treatment planning side of things.
Yep. Trying to find implant treatment plan form. I'm not putting my finger on it right now. So anyway, that is a cool thing to do if you can. Here, I think I found it. All right. Nope, did not find it. Oh well. So we'll skip that. But if there's a way in your software, which I know EagleSoft can do that, of copying and pasting the treatment plan, intraoral camera pictures onto the treatment plan. That's
Yeah.
a nice visual for them to take.
And you can just accompany with it. You know, you can put a tooth number on it and print it out, send it home, especially those that are wanting to talk it over with their spouses. Look, even at the end of the hygiene visit, your goal is still to sell the next hygiene visit. If they need nothing, if they're completely healthy. Because if you just, the level of which you're relaxed about the next visit, they're going to be a couple notches below you. So if that next visit is no big deal, there's not a lot of urgency for you, then they're really not going to think it's that big of a deal. So you've got to show them the things that you're doing during the visit. So you talk to them, you tell them what you're doing during the visit. I'm cleaning this area, I'm doing X, I'm doing Y. And at the end, it's say, it's so important for you to make sure that I see you in exactly 6 months to stay on top of X and Y.
That's really good.
If you had a patient who had rescheduled, was a month later, 2 months later, show them the difference in their health just by waiting that month or two. Don't be afraid to show them that.
Okay.
I used to have a patient that would ask me every time. I was actually telling the girls this yesterday. He would ask me to print out his perio charting every single visit so he could see where the areas of bleeding were. I bet you can guess to what disc profile.
C patient.
Yes, there you go. There you go, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So answer machine, your voicemail. Go ahead, Debbie. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that's also the advantage of perio charting each time they come in.
Yeah.
If you can do it.
It's so much value because it's not just a cleaning, right, Debbie?
Right.
Yeah, we're doing more
You want
than that.
You want that assessment each time because it can change.
Lauren, I would have told him, I don't write it down. Just call it out. I'm an I.
Yeah.
He would not have thought it was funny.
I bet everybody's addressed the voicemail answering machine message. Do you guys have it on there where please, if you need to make a change to your appointment, please call us during business hours. Don't leave that on your voicemail. Have y'all taken care of that, everybody?
Yeah.
So.
Couple of things I would just want to make
Call
sure,
your
because
office.
call the office and find out, but it should be in the doctor's voice, perceived power, right? The doctor's saying this. Secondly is,
Sure.
doesn't necessarily have to say if you're calling to reschedule, because that again insinuates other people reschedule, but you could say if you're calling regarding a scheduled appointment, if you're calling regarding scheduling, please do not leave any message on this machine. Please call us during normal working hours so that we can take care of you. You end up playing phone tag even no matter what's happening. So you can be more firm about it. The key part about this, Paula, is how does the text message system that you're using mirror this? Because if you're sending out a text message that says, if you need to like delete, I get it from my chiropractor. If you need to cancel this appointment, do not respond to this text. Instead, call us at this. We have you scheduled for this and this. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like they're inviting cancellations. They must get so many cancellations. They're just so used to it, right?
Absolutely. So, this brings us to our ReCare system. So on page 86 and page 87, we're going to start a sample ReCare system.